QRM Beach Office 5522, Saquarema City, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. We will make our movement today, another one, closing the effort and taking a break 15 days. February is closed. We will observe that the pattern of violation systematically presented evidence and proved going since aggressions against the civil rights and guarantees of a singular and unique citizen until diffuse areas as consumed, but we all under the same kind of threats, and considering that we have limited resource and the increasement of criminal result by continuity as by failures integrated in global scale, but for sure the mankind in threats, in risks, and then we will consider maybe that the transnational organized crime is a group that has no nationality, no gender, no color, no creed, in the same way the immigrant, and they have kind of a board there observing this as a steering committee, considering the ignition on Europe by Germany, Italy, as a constitutional committee. Of course, that we must put on it regulatory premises in all ways to prevent uncomfortable situations, especially going in a diffuse area threatening we all as mankind, as consumer, as the citizenship in global scale. The democracy got in threats and risks by failures inside the democracy interconnected by the common field's interest, which is pointing and leading to common gains, and common gains by illicit and illegal ways and advantages. And this indeed will point and was evidenced as two basic lines as clandestine and parallel physiological circuits as financial, and you had the cryptocurrency, and we have the logistic in the same way. And communication is something very curious because the financial is kind of the blood that will be flowing on your veins. Your veins are kind of the supply chain of your tissues and organs. And the communication is kind of which type of things and information and asset that this blood is carrying on. Sometimes we have the heritage elements on our blood that link ourselves with other lands, like the ancestry that you have and the heritage, the history of your family. And when you treat this, you are not only doing a violation of civil rights, but a violation of the Western history, which is based on family. And this kind of clandestine activity allowed us to have maybe a responsiveness by the Brazilian Constitution, Article 5, Item 5, considering that you are using the taxation to overtake and abusive procedures to overtake the private property, which is a conquest since 1789. In the same way, the Constitution and we do business by Constitution, just this. Designed a new market as a profile, I would say, considering that there will be no more global companies to suffer the global taxation as 15% combined with local taxation, which will be an abuse. And you have the right to resist, to fight back, and for sure, fight back for real and very serious. We will have, for instance, all global companies, America as American companies doing international business in USA. Same way in Brazil, have Brazilian companies do international business in Brazil, for instance, and we will not pay this global taxation. By an index as an economic agent, we can do this. Simple, isn't it? And it's a design of market against public corruption and international corruption integrated as pandemic, even having the domain of circumstance considering the disruptive event at the market. And we have an exception which is, and indeed is like this, the peers, the corporate peer linked with advantage associated with public departments and treasuries during this disruptive period divided in two segments, the isolation and the breakdown, when you close all things. And the last thing that we have is that when you put all your companies as global companies, as national business, do international, as national companies do international business on your own geopolitical space, you must respect your constitution. First thing, we are kind of increasing the encouragement to do things by your own constitution. If you wipe out your constitution or put it down, you have a period without no law, and you can suffer, for instance, a huge and massive nuclear strike. And we don't need no more buildings of those global companies around the globe, but it's property of this global company. You kind of will only take your personnel from there and your crew and set a massive elements, for instance, as nuclear storage of things or dynamite, and you can go inside. You will respect all things, or you kind of will be will you will do an aggression of the property and you will be charged by this, you know, something like this. And then we will have the authorization in global scale to keep all constitutions, especially on West, by this kind of control as a strike back by Article 5, Item 5 of the Brazilian Constitution. And then there will be no more ideas like refunding France or refunding all things or now feudalism. It will be, the 21st century business by law, by constitution, considering that crime is crime and criminal result is criminal result, and both must be under the punishment by law. The criminal sent to jail, the criminal result settled. Simple to understand, isn't it? We'll finish here. Have a nice Sunday. Have a nice February 15th day off.